Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today I'm gonna be painting this panther. It's already been primed and coated in black. It's glued to two of these wooden stir sticks. I have my wet palette here with a lot of colors because I've been using them to paint my orc, which there will be a short showing it at the end when it's done. I didn't record painting this one, but if you're interested in how to paint orcs, just let me know in the comments and I'll just make a video about it. I'll just paint another one of these guys, but not the same. I'll paint a different model because I want to experiment with some other models. I've seen some interesting ones and I do have some in my collection. I have a lot of them. I think I have some special ops orcs, which I haven't seen that much. This panther comes with the Aztec princess that sits on top of it. I'll be painting this in a future video, so subscribe if you haven't already and stay tuned for that video. It also has a nice beautiful big base, nature elements, leaves, a tree stump, some rocks and stuff there. It's very interesting. I'll be painting that. So I'm gonna do the panther tonight. I'm gonna do the base tomorrow, probably in a short, and then I'm gonna make another video about this princess, which has already been primed, and the base layer for it, it's Naples yellow, and I'm gonna just build up the skin tones from there, and then by hand I'll do all the elements and so on, the feathers, the spear, everything else. But this evening we're gonna be focusing on the panther and the panther alone. Okay, so back to our model, the panther. What I'm gonna be doing to this, because it's already coated black, I'm gonna dry brush it with some white, and then I think I'm just going to mist it with some translucent blue to bring up some blue highlights instead of white. And then we're going to do some war markings on it because it's a war animal, and if you have a tamed war animal, it needs to have some elements that allow you to recognize it as your own, so you don't attack it in combat, right? Or you mistake it for a wild one. It's a very beautiful sculpt, a lot of details here, and we're gonna bring them all out with a dry brush so you can actually see them, and I'll show you after. This is what I use for a dry brush test palette. This is the base of a PLA printed dice tower. It's one of two bases and I've only used one of them, so I kept this one because it's got a lot of textures on it, so I can try some dry brushing on it and see how much paint I got. This being a bit of a translucent white, is not going to be that visible on it, but you get the point based on the colors on it. So it's quite useful to have one. I will reprime it at some point and then just go from there. Let's try on the tail and see how much we got. Is it too much? It appears it is a bit much. I'm not really that bothered about it. This white is not that strong, so we may need to use this cream color that I have here, which I actually will get a little bit of it onto the brush. Because of the way the light reflects, I'm not so sure you can actually tell that I am raising some elements here and there. I don't want to insist too much. And there are some muscle definitions there, which I'm pretty sure you're gonna see a bit better in a second. I think you can see that a bit better. Let me see. That looks all right. Get some on that fur on the face. those beautiful muscles there. There we go. And because I'm only doing the top parts of the whole panther, all the underside will remain that deep dark, and it will just help sell the whole idea of light and shadows. I don't want to go too much on the underside. I've never painted a panther until now. This is a bit of an experiment for me as well. But I'm pretty sure we can get it there to right about where I want it, so that I can use the blue to bring out them details. I'm gonna go a bit heavier here on the face because I do want the brows here to gain a bit more of this white, so that when I spray the blue it will be a bit more intense. And we can always dull things down with black if I think it's too much. But no, I think right now the elements are just coming to life. I'm getting better and better. Look at that beautiful face. The sculpt is beautiful. The pose is very interesting. Very cat-like, very feline-ish. I really like it. It's a beautiful sculpt. The panther is ready to pounce. Okay, so I think this should be quite enough. And also once I do the blue spraying on it, some of the chalkiness will go away. I'm just going to have to find a dark shade of blue because I don't want it to be too intense. So catch those muscles there a bit more. Yep. You can see I've gone a bit heavy on it, but I do want the blue tinge to be quite visible, quite easy to spot. Going a bit heavier here, yeah. I think I just detached one of the, yep, disconnected one of the sticks. Okay, that looks good. That looks really good. The elements on this panther, they are absolutely beautiful. Let's see if the camera wants to zoom in and if my light won't bounce around. Let's see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can see that quite well. It looks beautiful. Yep, so I'm gonna load up the airbrush. We're gonna do the bluish tinge. Okay, so I got a dark shade of blue. I think you can pick that up in the airbrush. I'm just gonna mist it. There we go. Let's see. Do I like it? I think it looks interesting. I'm gonna use some lighter blue to highlight it further. We'll see how it looks from there. It's not bad, but it's also not extraordinarily good. This blue was a lot lighter than I actually expected it to be. Let me check and see if I have a darker one. Okay, so I was using this one with the unpronounceable name that makes me think of Pleistocene every single time I'm seeing that name. But I'm gonna try the Prussian one because I think it's just a tinge darker. There we go. So I've loaded the airbrush with the darker shade. Just gonna mist it a bit. There we go. It's quite interesting. The effect is dulling a bit for that blue, which is nice. I'm not gonna insist too much. It creates an interesting variation if we leave the other one a bit as well. There we go. I think it looks a bit better. Let's see. Yeah, I can live with that. I can live with that. It looks a bit better. I got a few elements here. Yep, I think it gives it that smooth element of blue. It looks beautiful. Right, so it looks a lot brighter than it actually is. I'll show you in a second, watch. If I take one of the lights away, the whole thing dumps and darkens as well by a lot. You gotta understand, I have, I don't know, 60, 100 LEDs pointing at this thing, so everything looks a lot brighter. But I think overall it's good. It looks interesting. You can always dull it back with some black if you want. I'm not gonna do that. It's gonna have something mounted, it's gonna have some markings on it, plus the clothes and all the other elements that are gonna light it up a bit. I think it should be fine. I do want to put some swirls here on the shoulders and on the back legs as well, on these massive muscles here. I don't know if I'm gonna do anything on its neck or so, but I think on its head maybe I'll do an element, some freehand there. And we're gonna do them with a light color, and then we're gonna hit those with a red, I think. I think red would look nice. I don't know. At this point, I'm guessing the future of what I'm gonna do to it. But let's get to the elements, the teeth, the eyes, the claws. Let's bring those to life a bit, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so I've decided to hit it with a little bit of black, just to bring some elements back, dull some areas, and make it a bit more cohesive overall, with just a tinge of that blue showing through. There we go. Now it's been brought back just a tinge, and it is a bit more fluid looking as well now because of that slight black coverage on it. I hope you can see this. I've left the head a bit more in the highlighted values. There we go. I think it looks better now. Okay, so my wet palette is back, and as you can see I have multiple shades of blue here, but this is the Prussian blue that I've already used for the panther to touch up all of the highlights. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this lighter blue. I think, give me 1 second. If I can find what kind of blue it is, I'll tell you. So that one is It's not this one, because this one is iridescent. So it's gotta be this one. It's turquoise from Pebeo. It's one of these. That's why it looks so much more solid. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna take some of this and I'm gonna mix it with some of this. And we're gonna get a new shade out of it. There we go. I think it needs way more of this to it. There we go. That looks interesting. And now I'm gonna take this very small dry brush, take a bit of that, okay, and I'm gonna try and see if I can work around some very strong highlights. Just a tad bit, not a lot, just a tad bit, to break up the same color all over, so it looks a bit, just a tad bit different. It's not a lot, it doesn't need to be a lot. There we go. Just a tad bit. I think that should do it. Clean this dry brush. Detail brushes, very small. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna do the claws, the eyes, the fangs, and we'll see where it takes us from there. I'm gonna do, let's say, this one over here so you can clearly see it. I'm just gonna take some water on my brush, shake it a bit off. I'm not doing them in white straight off, I'm doing it with this green color. Go in gently, get all of the claws done. Try not to touch the outside, but if you do, it's not a problem. Just grab some black and fix them. Try and get an even coverage. You might need to use 2 coats. This is pretty thin down. I can easily apply another, but I'm pretty sure you get the process. There we have it. I've done 2 of the claws, right? So you just go around and do this to the entire model until you have all of the claws done. I'll do mine and I'll be back to do the teeth. So there we go. I have all of the claws done with this I say cream color, but it's an ivory color. Same thing, it's one of the Pebeo ones. I don't know what it is right now. Somewhere in here, in the big pile. Yeah, because I've added it to the palette a little earlier, so I don't know where I've put it now. Somewhere in there. Piles of colors, of acrylic colors, and some inks as well. I do have a lot of these paints. I don't have any of the Citadel brands. I do have some scale color ones, especially this gold type. I got Elven and Dwarven. This is my favorite gold color. Out of all the gold colors I've used so far, this is my favorite one. Some inks. I do have some inks. Every now and then I'll use them. I've used this on the Emperor's Sword a little bit. The yellow was just stronger than the normal yellow, and you get less of the chalkiness and granulation in the brighter colors. The pigments are just so well refined in the inks. It's just a bit harder to clean them, especially from your airbrush if you don't have something to clean inks. But you can run some alcohol, but it should be diluted because, you know, it could cause issues with the gaskets inside. Let me just check if I got this claw here right. I did. There we go. I'm gonna do a fang here, and then I'm gonna pause and I'll be back once I've done all of them. Yeah, so let's just do one of them. Let's do both. That one, smaller one. I think my paint is too strong. It was too much. So there we go. Let's try to stay within the limits. If you make a mistake, it's not an issue because you can correct it. And there you have it. The fangs, use an appropriate sized brush for them. Cats have these tiny teeth here in the front. So cats, I mean felines, right? Big cats, small cats, they all have the same structure. So there we have it. I'll be back when all of it is done. There we go. I've also done the tongue with the same color, but now I'm going to add some red to it and tint it to make it tongue-like. And make sure you get in there, and if you can, avoid touching the teeth. There we go. Getting that tongue done. That's a bit better. It's a bit better. I had some paint run to the side, but it's fine. So I grabbed it. I did touch one of the teeth, didn't I? I think I did. But overall, there's a tint of red on the tongue in there. I didn't insist too much on the sides of it. I just touched a little bit. It's more of a glaze that will make this ivory color look a bit pinkish, and on the middle it will look darker red, so it should be just fine. Let's do one of the eyes as well. We do the white ivory part. Get in there, very gentle. Try as much as possible not to touch the sides. There we go. I think that is quite nice. The light over there. I'll be back when the other ones. I am adding just a little bit of red that I have mixed with this ivory that I used for the teeth. I'm just adding it right underneath all of the fangs. It's creating this gum-like effect, making it look a little bit better, breaking up that white to black transition, right? Yeah, and it looks far better now. The eyes are done. I've pushed a little bit on the lower eyelid and I've touched it up with the same color. I'm going to tint it as a highlight, a little bit more evident later. I think it looks good. It looks good. We're gonna add the iris and the pupil. I'm gonna go with green. I think green looks really good on Panther, so we're gonna make its eyes green, and then we're gonna add the pupil as well. Okay, I'm gonna use one of these metallic greens for the iris, right? They're not very strong in coverage, these colors, but they're good for like small details like that. They're absolutely okay. I'm also gonna use the smaller brush right? Just get it wet. And we're going to do the eyes. Just gonna put a little bit of this somewhere. It wants to come out. There we go. So I've put a little bit right there. This is a metallic paint, and it's going to look a lot more interesting on the eyes, reflecting light a little bit on its own without any like varnish and stuff. Let me see which one would be best. I think it would be better if I do this one first, right? Let me just get a bit of water on my brush, put it on the palette there, get some of this green. Yeah, we don't want it to be too runny, but I do need a bit of water in it, because otherwise, with this brush being so small, it dries before I get to the eye, and then I have a hard time actually leaving any paint there. So it will be looking a bit to the side, so its eyes, one's gonna be right there, one right there. So right there, we're gonna mark where the eye is gonna be. There we go. With that green. Just see. I want its pupil to be quite big. It's quite a large animal. And I want it to be more visible. Of course, here you could just make the whole thing green and just leave it. You know, nobody is forcing you to actually paint all of these details, but I like to paint the eyes. There you have it. I'll do the other one and then I'll come back with the black so you can see the pupil as well. Okay, so let me show you. This is what the result has been of adding that green. Right. Now we're going to add some black. From what I know about cats, when they are engaged on prey, their pupils are never slits. They're always round, right? Because their pupils dilate as they focus on the target. That's what I know, but you know, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. So we're just gonna add a black dot. I have some black here. It's pretty thin. I'll be very careful with it, because this is metallic. You can always varnish it if you're afraid, and then you can wash it, correct it, and wash it and correct it. But if you're careful, because it is metallic, it is quite easy to clean it up. I just want to see where I'm going with the brush, because the brush is so small that I can't actually see where the brush is going. That's not the right spot. See, I could not. So I'm gonna try it again. I'm just gonna remove that black from there. There we go. Gently pick it up with the brush. There we go. Took it away. And we try again. Just try to get the water out of your brush this time, because the paint is too runny. Get the paint down into the actual fiber, like so. Yeah. Let's see if now I can actually see where I am going. Hopefully I don't get in front of the camera with my big head. Okay, that's good enough. It's right about in the center of the green. I don't know how much of that you can actually see here, but I'll show you later. And now I'm gonna do the other one, and I'll be right back. There we go. And they're done. The eyes green with the black dots. And now we're going to do the coats, the war paint. Right, so let's do some war markings on this panther. And we're gonna do a swirl type here, here, and on all of the shoulders. Or maybe I should just do it on this shoulder and this one here. But we'll see how the design looks, and we'll go from there. I think I'm gonna need, though, a bit of this. Toilet paper is always good to have on hand when you're trying to dry brush stuff. Let's see. Varnish your model if you're not sure. Oh, just put a dot and try. Let's see. Okay, so I want the spiral to go like this. Across. Okay, so I'm gonna need a lot more paint to be able to do this right. So we do dot, spiral, 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 spiral. Yeah, just remember it doesn't need to be perfect lines, because this is like painting on fur, right? So they wouldn't have made a perfect design. They would have done something to be easily recognizable. So that's why we're doing this. There we go. That doesn't look too bad. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it. Just gonna do a bit more here. I think the element goes under. There we go. That should look quite nice. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Remember, it doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be there so that we have an element to tint. There we go, that looks beautiful. We're gonna make one on the other side as well, and I'll be right back. Okay, so it's done on both sides, right? And now we're going to do a dot with a diamond around, like so, on the back. Okay, so I had an issue here. My phone ran out of a battery without saying anything, without warning me. So yeah, that's why I've managed to finish the side here, and I've done both markings here, and on the other side I've already done them. While I was waiting for the phone to recharge, because it just died on me, and there we have it. And now I'm gonna do this side so that you see how I'm doing it. I've used the same brush, this one, for the reds here as well. I'll take one that's a bit more fluid, and I will just tint it. Tint all of this white with red. And then I'll come in with a more solid red with better coverage. Why I'm doing this is because I want all of that white to be tinted red, because the other color is a bit heavier. I will not be able to be as freehand as I am with this one, right? Because this one's a bit more translucent. So even if I get it around, it's not gonna matter because the color around is very dark, so it's not gonna be visible, right? But if I do it with the other color, once this is done, it's gonna be a lot harder to hide the defects, right? So that's why I don't want to make any errors. So I'm tinting the white with this more fluid red now at this time. So we had some there. I don't need to be very heavy-handed because it doesn't matter. I'm gonna come in with a stronger red. But I do want to cover, as I said, all of those white spots as best as possible before coming in with the other red. And maybe not all of these effects will be visible on camera, but to the naked eye they will be very, very visible. There we go. So that's why I'm doing it in this way. We are just saving errors and saving time by not having to fix things. There we go. So now it's tinted in the less powerful red, and now we're gonna go in with the more powerful one, more solid in coverage. And we're just gonna go around in the same pattern as we did when it was just white. See, this would have been a lot more powerful from the beginning and it would have covered a lot more, and there is a high chance that it's visible even on the darker color. So that's why I'm doing it like this. You could have just grabbed a very powerful red and just done the swirl straight, but I don't think you would have gotten this bright effect on it. It wouldn't have been this bright. You really need to undercoat it if you want to get it this bright, because otherwise I don't think there is any chance for you to get it this bright on black, dark blue from one go. There we go, that looks better. Just bring the second light on. Yep, need to let it dry. Let's see how it compares. That's more of an S. That's more of an S. Yep. This one is kind of missing the tail here. Let's see. Straight on black. See, it's not that strong in coverage. When on the white, you can clearly see the previous tainted area, it goes so much smoother, and now it does look like it's been painted on by hand, which is good. It's exactly the effect we're looking for. So we're gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna start with the dot in the center, just blast it with that red, then just go about the surface of the diamond we've drawn. There we go. And paint that white area there as well. Yeah. See from that angle. Yep, I think it is good. I'm gonna leave it at that. And that concludes the markings. Yeah, I think it looks nice. It looks interesting. I think I can go in with just a tad bit more. Now, of course, you can add some patches, or you can do the second layer. So from the more liquidy one, you can do a second layer of stapling with some brown or like a sangria red, and then come back with this lighter red, and it will look like it's been painted in blood, if that's the thing you want to go for. But right now I don't want that, because I want these to be like Aztec-like, and they usually manage to make them look really well painted. So use the same idea. There we go. I think it looks okay. Of course, you can come in, you can highlight this red on the top side, and you can darken it underneath. I'm not gonna do that because I'm probably gonna paint that through a wash at the end once everything's put together. But I'm not so sure I'm even gonna do that because it looks good the way that it is. You can also come in with an airbrush and make some light variations in that red. slight variation, because I just said light variations, but kind of means the same thing in this case, right? So you're going from shadows to light, so that's what I was thinking. But yeah. Okay, so let's hit it with some varnish, because we want to protect the progress. I don't think I'm gonna make any other changes either to it, so well, when I put them together, maybe I will add some resin on its teeth to make it look like it's drooling. Just turn this on. We don't want the vapors going everywhere. There we go. That's it. We let it dry. And I'll be right back to show you the final piece. Okay, let's have a look at what we've done. So here is the finished panther. I've detached it from the stir sticks, so I can actually see it better. Yeah. And the view from above, if it would focus, here we go. Forgive my shaky hands. It's about 4 in the morning and I'm a bit tired, but I think it looks good. I think it looks really good. Yeah, and there we have it, the panther. Our beautiful, beautiful panther. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, leave a like. Let me know in the comments what you think about this model and my painting process. I know I don't use all of the generic paints. I don't have them, can't afford them. I don't follow processes that you may be familiar with. I'm self-taught, so I do the best I can with every single job. I think it looks quite nice, in my opinion. You let me know yours in the comment. And I hope to see you in the next ones so that you can see the finished piece at the end. So yeah, thanks for sticking with me so far. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.